Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the number one skill that is needed in order to climb in Apex. Now yes, there is a lot of things that go into climbing the ranks in Apex, but there is one skill that rises above all that will help you out in a huge way. So we're going to be breaking it down, and by the end of this video you will understand how to do it and why you need to do it. But if you guys are here, it is very clear that you're looking to become a better Apex player, and if that's the case, then you absolutely need to check out the GameLeap website. Over there we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides possible. There are hundreds of videos on the website already, with more coming every single week. We got legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and much more. So if you really want to take your Apex skill to the next level, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, or I won't share any of my live wires with you. But okay, now that I've let you guys sit in your little anticipation juices for long enough, kind of marinate on what this skill is, I feel like it's time to actually tell you. So the number one thing needed in order to climb in Apex is being able to predict and anticipate other teams' rotations. Now, there are many things that go into anticipating where teams are. First off, you have to be paying attention to the dropship flight path. This gives you a very good indication on where enemy teams are going to be concentrated, because people don't really like to stretch far away from the ship. You will see teams stretch that extra little bit to get to a POI that they want to land to, but for the most part, the general majority of players just like to go straight down from the dropship or as close as they possibly can do. So you will have a general idea of where a good majority of players are based off the flight path alone. Now, another thing that goes into it is where the teams around you are landing. You can then tell if you are in a densely populated area or not. If you know that the majority of teams landed towards you, then you know that you're on the hot side. And no matter what you do, you're probably bound to run into a team at some point. Now next up is, where does the ring pull in relation to where the majority of people landed? If the ring pulls super far to one side of the map, and that side of the map happens to be far away from the majority of players, you know that most teams are going to be rotating also. And if most teams are rotating, then it's more than likely that you will bump into somebody on edge. And going off the last part, if there's multiple teams around you, then you're probably going to be bumping into more than one team. Now the next thing is noticing small details on the map. If you look around, you can see something like loot bins have been opened, or items have been dropped near crafters, or common loot spots not having anything spawn on them, stuff like that. If you're able to look and see those small details, you will know that you're probably trailing someone. If you're trailing somebody, then you can start to think about how far away they are in front of you. Maybe you can catch them, maybe you can't, but you at least know that somebody is near you. Now, why does this help you climb? Why does understanding where all the other teams on the map help you? Well, first off, this helps you take isolated fights. If you are able to anticipate where other teams will be rotating, then you will be able to single out teams on edge. Third parties are annoying. They're one of the worst things that happens in Apex, because they can ruin your game almost instantly. But by doing this, you will be able to take a fight with less chances of being third party. There's never a 0% chance that you're going to get third party when taking a fight on edge, but you can always lessen the chances. Something that I see hold a lot of players back is they never really know when and where to take a fight and when to just leave it for another time. They basically just see another team running and rotating and they're mossed to a flame. They have to fight then and there, and a lot of times they don't even really set up with their team. They see somebody and they just start shooting. Players that do this never really understand how close other teams are. They never really understand how fast it can get third partied. So they just start blasting and instantly get jumped on and their game is over. Now the second reason that this helps is you get safer, better rotations. Now even with kills being uncapped this season, if you get a bunch of them in the early game, you don't really want to risk them. Kills still aren't really worth much in the early game. You have to combine them with placement points in order to actually make them worth a lot more. So if you want to keep those points safe, your best option is to take a rotation to end game and wait for the placement points to kick in. But if you're not sure where other teams are, you can find yourself rotating right into the middle of a group of people, and that's no bueno. When you're able to understand where teams are going to be rotating, you can pick a better option. If you know that a huge amount of people are going to be rotating into spot A, then you can go through spot B instead, or spot C, or spot D, or whatever you have to do in order to take that safer rotation. And sometimes that does involve rotating through storm and taking a little bit of zone damage. But taking zone damage is much better than running through a huge group of people and hoping that they don't really notice you. But on the opposite end of that, let's talk about reason number 3 that this helps you climb, and that is you can get way more kills. Now, if you're the more aggressive type of player, then you can actually be able to flip the script on a lot of teams, and instead of having a safer rotation, you can actually just take fight after fight after fight. Have you guys ever been watching someone play Apex and they're able to drop 20 kill games consistently? Well, this is why, because a lot of the time the hardest part about a 20 kill game is finding the 20 people. And that's where this skill comes in handy. If you know where teams are rotating, you can more easily cut them off and put yourself in a better position to take a fight. On top of that, you'll be able to take safer fights, kind of like in tip number 1 with the isolated fights. But this time you can start to predict where the third parties are coming from, so you can start to put the other team in between you and the potential third party. So if something does happen, you're not the team that gets focused, the other team is. And then if the other team's the one getting focused, then your team can restabilize, heal up, and then engage the third partiers. Now, reason number 4 is you can also get better endgame spots when predicting teams. Now, this is something else that I see a lot of low elo players struggle with. When getting to endgame, they just kind of ping a building and run at it. They never really stop to think if that building is taken or if teams are playing in there. Then when they get to the building and find out that a team is actually there, then they don't really back off. They try to force something and it almost never works out. In endgame situations, when a team starts to fight, it's like a dinner bell and all the other teams just start to pile in. If you're the one to start the fight, it's more than likely you're not going to survive it. But if you understand where teams are in these endgame circles, then you will know what buildings are free and what ones aren't. So you can then put yourself in a much better spot to play endgame from and set you up for a ton more wins. I don't think I really need to tell you guys how important winning the game is. But something that a lot of players skip out on is they don't really plan out the endgame, they just kind of do it. But thinking and planning and understanding endgame is just as important as any other part of the game. Some would say it's more important because it is a battle royale, the goal is to win. So knowing where all the other teams are sets you up to win more games tenfold. Now, something that I want all you guys to keep in mind is you can never actually fully predict a team. The most wild variable in Apex is the human mind. People do stupid things all the time that make no sense. Now, those are wildcards, and for the most part, teams will follow patterns that you can learn from. Once you learn from them, then you can throw them into your game sense to help you better understand predictions. Now, I'm not going to say that those wildcards aren't going to be annoying to deal with, because they are very annoying, but they also help you grow as a player. When something doesn't go to plan, it just helps you learn how to adapt to situations. Once you understand how to adapt to situations, then you'll have a lot more game sense and be a much better player. So the best advice that I can give to you guys for that is just keep at it. Learn from your mistakes if they ever happen. You guys will learn a lot more from your losses than your victories. So if you ever lose, analyze it, throw it into your memory vault, and grow from it as a player. But now I have a task for you guys, the community. I want you guys to really implement this into your gameplay, learn how to do it, grow from it. And after a little bit of time, I want you guys to come back to this video and let me know how it has helped you as a player. I cannot wait to read these comments in the future and see what you guys are doing in your ranked play. But with all this being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did and you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.